Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Agent Recon, and this is a new sci-fi action thriller from writer-director Derek Ting, who stars as Jim, our main character, who winds up being brought into the special mission by Colonel Green and Alastair, played by Chuck Norris, who this film is really sold on starring Chuck Norris, who's really only in this film for 4 minutes and basically does nothing but stare hard at the camera in all 4 of those minutes. But let's get past that part of this extremely manipulative marketing campaign because he's barely in it. But the main character is writer-director Derek Ting's Jim, who's a superpower soldier who joins this mission to look into this strange occurrence that's happening in New Mexico. And within the first minute, Ting drops all of this very convoluted and clunky exposition that, like, there's no context to, and you're just like, oh, I'm supposed to understand and process all of this. And it's kind of ridiculous, and you're just like, okay, I'll do my best to go along with what's going on here. And then the film gets into, this is a very low budget film, and it is science fiction. It's trying to do some big things. There's moments where it has big CGI moments that it's just like, wow, you could tell these are all just actors standing in front of a random screen somewhere and they're projecting a whole bunch of nonsense that only looks like partially real. And basically all the antagonistic, like, alien type creatures are people in black masks and all black outfits that more or less look like even cheaper versions of the putties from, like, Power Rangers. And you're just like, okay. There's a lot of sequences and shots of them just running through this, like, random put together, like, small town of, like, dilapidated buildings and stuff, which that's the whole entire setting of this movie. The exposition dumping all these big sci-fi ideas is so clunky and awkward and never really resonates. And this had some potentially interesting ideas, and that's probably the biggest thing this film had going for it. Because even the action in this film, outside of, you know, the clunky writing, the disinterest, the flat characters, the performances feel awkward and stiff. The action, which is supposed to be the bread and butter of this film, has 2 big issues. One, all the choreography is so basic, and they try to get around it and make it feel more epic by using an insane amount of slow-mo, and you're just like, doesn't help. And then, every time you're about to see contact with any punch or kick, it cuts. And then it cuts, and it cuts, and it cuts, and it cuts. And this over-edited action makes it so cheap looking and makes you feel like you're not even seeing any of the action. You're just trying to cut around probably iffy stunt work between the actors and the stunt performers, and none of the action's engaging at that rate. And so the action really doesn't work. The story's too convoluted and weird and clunky in terms of how they execute it. There's supposed to be a couple of big emotional moments, which in theory would be big emotional moments, but between stiff performances and horribly written characters, it never really resonates. This film just feels like, hey, if you really, really like action thrillers and you have hour and 25 minutes, and you're okay with just seeing Chuck Norris on screen for 4 of those hour and 25 minutes, okay, then this might pique your interest. Otherwise, this is just such a clunky mess and so uninteresting for so much of it. And you kind of are just left with this feeling of, what was the point of this? And then it gives you, like, hints of, like, there could be more adventures with Derek Ting's character, and you're just like, I think I'm good. But those are my thoughts on Agent Recon. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.